Today we're going to start looking at the second of the three parts that make up a book, the body. And also I'm going to include a little visual of converting a worksheet to the canvas. So hello again, everyone. This is L Haupt, and I'd like to thank you for joining me. This is episode 5 of my journey to creating an art book from conception to printed form. In other words, a wonderful, whimsical art book that when completed, you'll have the opportunity to have this for your very own. So if you can, take a moment and subscribe. And as with the first part, the front matter, the body of the book is following the same format in that it's being divided into subsections. And for this book, the body is being divided into 5 sections. And the sections of the body are the album covers 1 through 8, then intermission 1, album covers 9 through 16, then intermission 2, and then album covers 17 through 24. Now, if you viewed episode 4, then you're aware that I was approached by the contents and preface page that they wanted, and they made a strong case for having their own design, just like the half title and title page. And I relented. Well, that seemed to open up the floodgates, because a few days ago, here comes the album and the intermission pages, not demanding, mind you, but making their case as well, that they felt like they deserved a design. So without further ado, let's head on over to the easel. As with the previous designs, we've started with rough drafts, working in some ideas. Because this particular section has the prologue, I put in this extra little line down here. And just keep in mind this little box right here. Okay, this is the design I worked out, and I was pretty satisfied with it until I kept looking at this box and had a little bump in the road with it. And that's going to change. I've got some measurements. I'm going to make it a different size, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in and narrow this area right in here. Okay, so here's my final design. As you can see, I've enlarged this box. I brought this in to be the same size as the other teal boxes in the other areas, half title, cover page, contents page, etc. Is keep looking at the size of these 2 circles and whether I want to make them just a touch smaller. Okay, so for the box I pointed out in the design, so rather than the stick figures and with watercolor backgrounds that I'm going to be using in the 4 boxes in the front cover of the book and in other boxed areas of the book, what I decided to do was to insert into those 5 section boxes a painted design or painted image. So today I'm going to show you one of those 5 ideas of paintings I'm going to be working with. So first we're just going to head on back over to the easel again and then come back to the drafting table. This is the first one we'll be looking at of those 5 paintings. As you can see, the grid lines are in for the transfer to the worksheet. And as you can see, there's a fair amount of erasing to get everything where I wanted it. And right now I'm comfortable with now making the transfer to the canvas. So if you join me back at the workstation, we have the doodle and we have the worksheet. And now I need to transfer this to the canvas. And what I do, and again, this is my process. Artists do all this type of transferring and working on canvas in different ways. And what I've got is I take a sheet of tracing paper, and then let me get a sharpened pencil here. What I do is I just go over all my lines. And then once I've gone over all my lines, what I'm going to do is start this, and then I'm going to cut the camera and then bring you back when I've got everything drawn in. Okay, I'll see you in a couple seconds. Okay, I'm finishing up my line work. Okay, so now I take this off. And sometimes I don't need to transfer every line over. Some of them I can work in as I get this done. So what I'm going to do now, and just like I missed the eye, I can always work that in later. That's not necessarily that has to be transferred over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over the whole thing on the reverse side. And I don't know if anybody is young enough that's watching remembers carbon paper for typewriters. And sort of what I'm doing is that same type of effect or process where I'm going to transfer the graphite onto the canvas so I can see my line work. Okay, again I'm going to, and I want to get this nice and dark, a nice dark line, a heavy graphite, so I've got a good transfer to the canvas. Okay, so again I'm going to cut away, and I'll come back when the whole thing has been transferred over. Okay, finishing up my last line here. I'm hoping you can see this better. I'm a lefty, and everything I have is set up to accommodate me being left-handed. The workstation, placement of tooling and everything like that. Okay, so I've got this transferred. And put this aside. For these 5 paintings, we're working on an 8 by 10. And again, since I'm left-handed, everything has been situated to the left side to accommodate that. And then what I'll show you the transfer in a second. Okay, again, I want to get another little bit of sharpness to the pencil. So what happens now is I go over this a third time. And as I do this, I am now pushing the graphite on the opposite side onto the canvas. Now it's very light. I don't need anything real dark, and I don't want a whole lot of graphite. But you can see the line work that I've transferred over. And I'll again do this to the whole thing, and I'm going to again switch off the camera to get this all in, and then I'll come back and show you the starting process of the painting. Okay, so next episode I'm going to continue to start working the paints onto the canvas. And that's it for episode 5. My name is Craig Haupt, creator of lots of neat art stuff, and I thank you for dropping in. I hope you continue to join me on this art book making journey by clicking on that little red subscribe button down below. And when you do that, there's a little bell that shows up. If you click on that, you'll receive a chime notification when another episode has been uploaded. And now, let the credits roll.